Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and today I'm going to do my Attack on Titan episode 30 review. A little late than normal, but we're going to get to it for the review. Particularly the reasons why I think I'm going to make it a little later than normal. Because I do have the FunimationNow stream service, and not because I have it, but in the Funimation stream service, if you guys have the Funimation stream thing, there's a couple of things that are in the Funimation broadcast that are not available into the Premiere Toonami broadcast, and some stuff. It's small stuff, but it's definitely significant. If you kind of hindsight is 2020. There's like before the commercial break of the broadcast on Toonami. There's something that Toonami doesn't show that they should show. It's a public disclaimer message, which kind of sums up like certain things that are going on in the episode, and they kind of specifically explain it. They give you the translated English text, and at the point where Toonami would have the commercial break, that's where the FunimationNow would put it up. And they also have the next time segment as well, which I do like that they don't take that out, because I don't think they took it out for season 1, but they're taking it out for season 2. So a couple of things there that the FunimationNow broadcast has that the Toonami broadcast does not have. The FunimationNow stream service has Attack on Titan the next day after the Toonami broadcast premieres it at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on their Funimation stream, if you have the FunimationNow stream service. With that being said, let's get to the review. So this first episode, or not episode, this episode 30 of season 2 of Attack on Titans, for pretty much the most part of this entire half of this episode, was a flashback. Well, not really a flashback, but it was a flashback to an event that happened during the events of season 1, but obviously this never took place in season 1. This was never shown in season 1, so obviously this was like, I'm assuming, some type of survival training exercise that they did in the winter when it was snowing, or they were near the mountains where it was, snowing primarily. So I'm assuming this was a survival expedition or something like that. It was definitely in the past, during the events of season 1, probably towards the beginning of season 1, when they just first became, cadets. But they don't show it in season 1. So, one thing that I was really upset about this is because this wasn't in season 1, and this particular event did take place during season 1, because it was like it was something that happened already, but we never seen it on screen. Was that they didn't explain that. They didn't show that in the beginning of the episode. Because as we know, at the end of last week's episode, we seen like, Amir about to turn into a Titan, pretty much, and they just go right to this, and they don't really explain why they're here. For the first couple of minutes, I wasn't too sure if this was a flashback or if this was something else, because it was never explained by the narrator or wasn't explained by anyone. And they didn't show like a cue card, to explain that this happened in season 1 or this happened at some point. They didn't explain it, and I don't like when you do that. Even though, I'm sure some people would have been able to figure it out, you shouldn't do that. You should not do that, because some people might not figure that out. So I think that was horribly execution by the creators or the people that are doing the animations or whoever put that stuff together. Um, so we open it up and it's snowy. Amir and Crystal are basically, they're with a wounded soldier, and they're, Crystal's dragging it, and Amir is like, saying, forget him, just leave him behind, and she says, no, there's a third option. I'm gonna drag him there, and and we're both gonna be safe, And while this is going on, you got Mikasa, you got Aaron, you at the cabin. Everyone's pretty much at the cabin except for Amir and Krista. From everyone from the cadets. And Mako was there, and Marco was there, which pretty much let me know that this was a flashback, but it was a flashback of an event that we never actually seen in season 1. Since spoiler, he died. So I guess Austin, who I met second time now, conveniently not told me that, because I asked him, I was like, "Hey, isn't he coming? Isn't he coming back?" He's like, "I don't think so." But well, technically he didn't come back, but he still voiced him though. Like, so no, that he still voiced him though, because obviously this happened in the past, but it still happened in this season. So yeah, Austin kind of didn't reveal that one to me. But Austin's the guy who voices him, by the way, for anyone who's confused what I'm talking about for the English dub. Anyways, so yeah, basically they were gonna go search for him, and then their commanders were basically saying, no, a search party will come out the next morning, and they're like, they'll be dead by then, and stuff like that. So eventually, Amir talks about Crystal's past, or she knows about her past, but she doesn't know who she is. Like, she doesn't know her actual name, because Krista's is not apparently her name. So she has, like, that's her fake name. Apparently she was a illegitimate son to the priest, I guess. And she's like an odd kid, so they were debating whether she should blend in with the poor, or she should be with someone else, or she should just they should move her along somewhere else. Eventually they put her in the cadets group, and so she said, don't wear your secrets with me. It's like, well, why are you doing this? And because you kind of remind me of me. So that stuff happens, and eventually she just keeps wanting to, like, drag the wounded person, but Amir basically says it's not going to work. And so she basically pushes her aside, and by the time she becomes 2, Amir and the wounded person is gone. So she doesn't know what happened, and so then she eventually gets there, and they're like all, because they were gonna go search for her too. They were secretly, Aaron and everyone else, Mikasa and everyone were gonna eventually search for them. But Amir, gets there, and then eventually, with the wounded person, and eventually Christa gets there, and she's like, well, how did you get there? How did you get off the mountain like that? And stuff like that. And she says, I have a secret, and you cannot tell anybody, and when I reveal my secret, you have to basically say your real name, and stuff like that. So she doesn't tell Crystal apparently that she's a Titan, which I'll get to later in the episode, because there's just some, I don't know, some plot shit going on, because she doesn't say that she's a Titan, but she asks about it, but she never reveals it. So there's some confusion on that one. But then before they go to the break, you see, you go back to they go back to the present time where where Amir turns into the Titan, and that happens. And so basically, there's the break, and there's no break on the Funimation Now, but this would be where a commercial break would be. And so on the Funimation Now, they show public service disclaimers. And they have the Japanese text on the side, but they have like an English translation of what they are saying in the Japanese text. And basically they explain certain things. Like they explain a brief summary basically, that Titans are more faster in the sun, in the daytime and stuff like that, but in the snow, they're much slower. They're not as fast in the snow. They're at a disadvantage, and soldiers can easily take them out much easier in the snow. This is something that does not show up on the Toonami broadcast. They do not show the public disclaimers. This is something that only is shown on the Funimation Now site, or whenever it comes on DVD or Blu-ray. So if you are a Funimation subscriber, I would recommend giving it a rewatch. If you do want to watch it on Toonami, which I will still be watching Attack on Titan on Toonami because I want to watch it right away. But if you want to find out all the extra stuff that the Toonami TV broadcast does not include, especially like the previews for the next episode, because they're not showing them this time around. They were showing them for Season 1. They're not showing them for Season 2. That's just something Toonami rarely does. It's a miracle they did it for Season 1. Toonami did, because they don't show next time previews for any of their animes anymore. It's very rare for them to do it these days, and it's such a shame too, because they should. So yeah, they kind of give you like an insight on Titan's weaknesses, and stuff that they don't really have time to mention in the episodes, but they're explaining different things that the soldiers have advantages on over Titans, and weaknesses for Titans and stuff like that. Little messages, of stuff that they don't have time to explain in the actual episodes, which I think are really good and does help, if you're trying to research these characters for, versus battles. If you plan on putting these guys in versus battles, I would recommend watching it on the Funimation Now, because those messages will help with certain feats. Like this. Anyways, so back to the review. So then we get to the present day, and we have Amir basically now fighting off the Titans. She's fighting them, and Christa accidentally almost falls over, and then you see Ranner, he saves her, but then because he realizes that Titan is the Titan that ate his friend, which they talked about in the last episode, and so he's like, he's crunching on her leg, like he's twisting it and stuff like that. I don't think he broke it, but he really, he hurt it. He hurt it really bad, and you can see in his eyes, like he is just like pissed. But then he eventually comes to, and then lets her back into the tower, and so he asks, "Be honest, did you know about this?" And she said, "No, she never told me about the Titan, her being a Titan, and she never told me, and we've been inseparable or whatever, and I never knew." So, yeah, there's see, and that's the thing. That's sort of a plot hole because it's like, she kind of, said, you know, I'll tell you, but then, later on we find out that she didn't actually tell her, but she just kind of hinted at it, but she never actually told her. So, I mean, that's kind of a plot hole and a contradiction. Unless if Crystal's just lying, which I guess is possible, but I don't think that's the case here because the way she's looking, I don't think she would lie about that. Um, I don't think she's the kind of character to lie about something like that. But then again, she's been lying about her name, so I mean, maybe. Um, which again, that's another plot hole because in the last episode she said that she didn't even know what she was talking about. Which obviously, the way that they're putting it in this episode is she did know what she was talking about. She just chose not to remember, which is just denial type thing. That's not an actual her forgetting amnesia type thing. So that's kind of a plot hole as well. Um, so they're fighting him off. She's fighting him off, and then eventually Krista just basically, because she was risking her life, to save them, and they realized this. And of course, they had the whole debate if she knew all the lying, and she's been with the Titans all along. They even bring up the whole thing with Aaron. That Aaron didn't know until he transformed back into a human, from a Titan. And they say, well, she could have been on their side all along. So there was those scenarios too, but you could clearly see that she was trying to save them in this particular instance. So, eventually Crystal gets up and says, you're going to try to be the hero, basically trying to be like a mirror, and stuff like that, just destroy this tower and stuff like that. So then that's what she does. She starts throwing the castle bricks or the tower bricks at the Titans, and eventually the tower gets knocked down. Or before it gets knocked down, though, she says she actually talks in Titan form, which I don't think that's ever happened before. I don't think we've ever seen Aaron or Annie in Titan form actually talk, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the first time we've actually heard a human Titan talking in Titan form. She says, "Do you want your lives to be saved?" And so they get on her head, and then the tower comes crumbling down and squishing all the Titans. But then the Titans obviously get up; they're not fazed by this. So then she has to continue fighting them off. After this, eventually, Amir is like screwed. She's like stuck basically with these Titans. She's piled up by these Titans, and then you see Crystal like trying to no, I haven't gotten to tell you my name yet, my real name. And then that's when you see this other Titan about to come in and eat Crystal, and Amir can't obviously save her at this point. And then, out of nowhere, you see Mikasa just destroy that Titan. That was like an own right there. Mikasa just comes out of nowhere. I was like, Mikasa just RKO'd her out of nowhere. I was going to do that whole Randy Orton type meme because she just like literally came out of nowhere. And then you see all the other Scout Regiment people come and start taking down the Titans. And then you even see Aaron, who's supposed to be not on the offensive part of the group, go in and actually kill one of the Titans. And he's like, yeah, my first NBA kill. And then he slips and gets caught on one of the nets or whatever, and they're like, you shouldn't have done that, and stuff like that from one of his superiors. And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, and then they move on. Stuff like that. And that takes out the Titans. And then they basically, they're asking him, are you okay? Aaron talks to them, Rannian and Conrad. And they basically, they talk to them all. And And yeah, they that's the whole meetup and stuff like that. After they took them all down, and then we get pretty much to the end after that, and because Amir has basically been just like destroyed by these Titans at this point. And so she's out of her Titan form, and now she's in her human form, but she's lost a leg, she's lost an arm, she's like busted open everywhere, and she's still sort of living. I don't exactly know if she's actually alive or not still, because I'm not sure how the full Titan effects work. Because I know Aaron was able to regenerate cells after he got out of his Titan form to one point. I mean, let's not forget the first time. Like, remember when Aaron he lost his arm the first time and his leg, if I'm not mistaken, in season 1. That was before he discovered that he was a Titan. And when he turned into a Titan, he got his arm and leg back when he transformed back. So I'm not sure exactly if Amir is actually dead or if this is a permanent type thing because she lost her arm and her leg in the Titan form rather than the human form. But I know Aaron was able to regenerate. So I'm not sure if Amir is actually dead or if this is legitimate or not. I don't think we'll know until the next episode. But so at the end, you see basically Christa basically putting, she's like, right up on Amir and basically tells her, my real name is historical, which ironically enough was the name of the title of the episode. So that's her real name. A little different from Christa, but that's her actual name, I guess. And that was the end of the episode. Basically, you see a brief lean of like the commander, but that was it. So I don't know if she knows anything, but that was the end of the episode. It was a solid episode. They kind of, mixed it up with like showing an older, event that we never seen in season 1, with the main characters, and then you got to see the main characters come back in the end there. This was a really balanced episode, and it was really good. Nice solid episode to incorporate the main characters along with the storyline. This is definitely more balanced than the other episodes overall. But there were a couple of issues, obviously, with the lack of, telling us what this event was when this actually happened during season 1, since this wasn't actually in season 1, but it clearly took place during the events of season 1. There was stuff that I think they really needed to show, and they didn't show on that. But I think they did some, really good explanations for certain things. The public service disclaimer, which again, if you do not have FunimationNow and you watch this on Toonami on the premiere date, which I did too, but I also rewatched it on FunimationNow because I currently have the stream service, you missed that, and you also missed the preview too. Those are two things that FunimationNow that kept that Toonami decided to take out. Yeah, those little message summaries are definitely significant because they're explaining you weaknesses of certain soldiers as well as the Titans, which you probably won't actually see in the actual episodes. So those are things that are canon that need to be shown to certain people, especially if you're comparing Titans and other things to Versus series. Just saying, out there, you need to include that stuff. But yeah, this was overall a solid episode. I thought it was pretty good with the couple of things that I mentioned already. But that's about it. Like I said, if you missed it on Toonami, you can watch it on Funimation Now, like actually right now, because it comes on the day after the Toonami broadcast, which is at 10, but it will be 10 p.m. Eastern time the day after the Toonami broadcast, which would be Sunday 10 p.m. Eastern time, literally the next day after after it airs on Toonami. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Comment, rate. If you like this video, or any of my other videos, please give me a like. And like I said, comment, rate. And that's about it, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this episode. How'd you like this episode, or how different you thought about this episode, or did you think it was unexpected? Do you think Amir's dead? I don't know. I don't know, because she closed her eyes at the end. Like I said, I'm not sure, because Titans, I guess, can regenerate. At least if we're going by Aaron logic, they can. But I'm not sure if her Titan form is different. So, maybe each Titan is different. I don't know. We don't really know that much about Amir because of this. So I don't know if she's dead or not, or if she actually is in fact dead. So let me all know what you guys think about this, and that's about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace.